Okay, it's been a minute and I've listened to the album about 4 or 5 times. Here is my genuine thoughts on Chance the Rapper's Starline. So, I'm not going to be doing a number scale. I am just going to say, is it worth listening to and is it not? And I'm gonna be honest. I am very impressed. I think that Chance did his very, very big one. I think that this should have been the big day that we were getting. He really got into his, more so his coloring book bag. A lot of the raps, a lot of the songs on here, a lot of the songs where he's singing, where he's rapping a little bit more lyrically. All this is reminiscent of the old coloring book him, while also having a nice little a little homage to the acid rap era and the mixtape eras and all that. But if you are looking for a acid rap album where you think he about to go crazy and talk crap about his ex-wife or whatever, it's not that type of album. It's a very mature Chance. It's a very, very lyrically in his bag Chance. There's a few questionable bars, but honestly, I feel like it's pretty solid. So, hold on. Let me get the track list up real quick. Okay, I am gonna do something different. First off, I'm gonna start off with the songs that I don't necessarily like. So, there's a few tracks that I don't like on here. Um, Link Me in the Future, not one of my favorites. I don't necessarily like the singy whatever thing that he had going on. Also, Space and Time, another song where he is doing more of the singy thing. I don't necessarily like it that much. Gun to Your Purse, although it is a very, seemingly fun track and a little bit more, hoppity, hippity, whatever you want to call it. It is definitely one of those songs where you're listening to it and you're just like, okay, he's trying to find another hot shower, another, hit or whatever, which I'm not mad about. It's just I'm personally not bumping this. And also Young Thug's verse, it felt like he would just, I don't know, he Young Thug isn't at his best right now, but that's a video for another day. Um just a drop is also a song where I'm just like, it's okay. J Electronic verse isn't necessarily my favorite, but I do like how Chance gets into this, I like his cadence. I like the bars. He's doing a decent enough job to keep me interested in the song. It just I wish that J Electronic did a little bit more. Burn Your Block. I hate this song. I'm not gonna lie. This song and what is it? Ride. Those two songs I really don't like. I'm being completely honest. It's just the singing annoying. The cadence is weird. I'm not necessarily a big fan of it. Now, those are all the songs that I don't necessarily like. Not that many songs. So intro song hits me in my heart. I like the music. Again, it just reminds me of Coloring Book. I like the cadence. I like him just, he's spitting. He's saying that talk. He's conveying how he's been feeling lately. He's been, being seen as somebody who fell off or whatever, and he's making sure that that he's been in the lab. He's been putting pen to paper. He's spitting. You know what I mean? I love it. I love it. Genuinely. Negro Problem, another great track. I like it. You know, the basis of the track is literally just saying, it's only a problem for everybody if everybody is affected. If it's a problem that only affects, black people, then it's just a black problem. That's why it is Negro problem. And then sometimes the problems of black people ends up spiraling to being the problem for everybody. And now it's just an everybody problem, even though, we ignored it so long inside our black communities. I think that it's a very strong track. I also like BJ, the Chicago Kid contribution, although it's not, that crazy. I do like the vocals in the back. I feel like it really adds to the song. Highs and Lows. Of course, I've been bumping that for like 6, 7, 8 months or whatever. I really like that song. When it first came out, I was wondering why he didn't drop a drop an album with it, but I guess he was waiting for it. Letters is a really good track. Again, I'm not having like a necessarily like rhythm or whatever you want to call it when I am reviewing this one. I'm just kind of talking and saying names of songs. Anyway, Letters. I like this one. The song is very, very. It hits me in my heart a lot. You know what I mean? As somebody who's lost somebody, a lot of the times you think that losing a person is literally just, oh, this person isn't physically there, but there's also the things that that person would do, like how you said, you know, my auntie, she passed, but along with her passing, I am also saying goodbye to the things that she used to do, which was, you know, uh, Sunday school and all that. And I really gravitated to that song a lot. I think that, you know, the first verse is very heartwarming, is very, very gut wrenching. I feel second verse is really swell as well. I think Letters is just it's one of those songs where you're expecting that from, like, you know, you're expecting that from not him. You know what I mean? And I'm happy to hear this from bro again. Another song that is surprisingly, I didn't think I was gonna like this one, but Drapatama or whatever it is, the song with Baby Chief Dottie. I ain't gonna lie, pretty good. I liked it. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not necessarily a big fan of the you know, pop joints, the ones where you feel like, oh yeah, they definitely doing this just to get the views or the whatever. But I like this one. I think it's fun. I think Baby Chief did a really, really good job on his verse. I think Chance was entertaining enough with his vocal inflections to make it very interesting. Tree is a single that was for this album. I actually really like this song. At first, I didn't like the song. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm not a big fan of Chance's freaking singing. I'm not gonna lie. His singing has never been like a, oh yeah, this is the one for me. You know what I mean? But this one, not bad. I like the song. I like the verses. Smino should have had a longer verse in my opinion, but pretty good. Then we get into Speed of Light. I like Speed of Light. Speed of Light is fun. Well, not fun. It's also one of those songs where I feel like it's heartwarming. I like the singing from BJ Chicago Kid. Again, you know, I mean, he's sprinkled in this album a little bit, not too much, but enough to, you know, really notice him when he's, you know, spitting or having his way on the track or whatever you want to call it. Very nice track, very heartwarming. Again, this just feels like a nice summer day. It's hot as hell out here. And then again, with no extra order, Speed of Love song is okay. This song kind of grew on me. I had to listen to it a few times. I didn't necessarily like it at first because again, it's one of those Chance the Rapper singing, even though he's a rapper type situations. But I think that he does a fine enough job on this type of beat to hold my attention. But Jasmine Sullivan is kind of like the main person in this track that I am really interested in when I'm listening to it. I'm waiting for her vocals. It's really good. Back to the Go is a track with his, big man Vince Mensa, Vic Mensa, which if you don't know him, he very interesting guy. Let's just say that. And I like how Chance isn't afraid to keep his people on his tracks because Vic Mensa has been a long time feature, a long time collaborator of Chance the Rapper's music. And I like to see that he hasn't necessarily switched up on him because of all the well, not even the allegations, the case that he has and all the weird stuff that he got going on. So it was a good like blast of the past to hear a song where both of them is on there and they're doing pretty well lyrically. It's one of those songs where you know Chance is really outshining Vic, but Vic isn't necessarily doing the worst job in the world. So I'm letting them rock on this one. And then No More Old Men. I like this song. I enjoy this song. I think this song is very cool. I think that again, cadence, lyrics, all that, he's pretty good on this joint. And then the feature, I don't necessarily know her too much, but Jamel Woods, she does a fine enough job of, keeping the chorus and having, some pretty good standout vocals and such on the track. I feel like it adds a lot to it. And the last song that I'm gonna be talking about, with no particular order, is Pretty. Pretty is a pretty good song. I like this song. He talks about his, relationship with his wife, and how it didn't work out, and how he feels like he's not whole. And, we understand that. He made a whole album for her, for Christ's sake. Like, we get it. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that you want your wife back. And I think it's good to promote being together as a family unit. So I'm not gonna bash on too much for this track, and it is interesting enough, and he talks about different things enough to where I don't necessarily have too many problems about the bars and the words and things that he's saying. Okay, so my last thoughts. I think that this album, Starline, is actually really interesting. I am very, very excited to see where Chance the Rapper goes next. I believe that every person that was a fan of him, or had listened to a few of his songs or albums or mixtapes or whatever you want to call it in passing throughout the years, will probably enjoy this album pretty, pretty goodly. I ain't gonna lie. I've been enjoying it. Again, you know, I think this is worth a listen to. But again, let me know. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What's your gripes with the album? Do you feel like, blah, 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 blah? Also, for anybody that is, trying to have deeper conversation about music as a whole, or some of my takes, go ahead and feel free to comment and let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm right. Let me know how you feel about the album, because again, I started this just to have a conversation about music. So, let me know. Anyway, it's been your boy Captain. I'm gonna head out. It's hot.